This episode has been brought to you by Manscaped. The new Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra is every man's cheat code to look good, feel good, and turn the page on confidence this year. Go to manscaped.com, use the code GOLTS20 for 20% off plus free shipping today. This week on the Heart of the Golts YouTube show, we sit down with content creator and comedic personality, Luke White. In our episode, we introduce a brand new game called Guess That Thang. Let's check out the episode. We are in the Heart of the Gulch. I'm your host, Tony Mendoza, and today I'm very excited for my guest. We got the one and only Luke White in the building. The man, the myth, the legend.
We here.
Oh, man, it's really out here today, man. You knocked down my whole studio before we even walked in the door, bro.
I did. Bull in a china shop out here.
Hey, man, for real, bro. It's funny. When we were chatting right before we got on, and, man, it's funny how I meet people in Nashville, Tennessee. So I first met you just bulling around at my, part-time position in the summer of last year in Total Wine, bro. Shout out to Total Wine.
Shout out Total Wine Brentwood. Great spot.
Speaking of which, I saw you last year on social media. You did a drive to LA.
I did, yeah.
Bro, what?
I did.
Man, what was that? What was a drive like that like? I couldn't imagine driving from Tennessee. I drive to Texas all the time, but I don't drive to California.
It was brutal. I've actually driven. I've done it twice. I drove once from Minnesota to LA, and then I drove from Tennessee to LA. So a buddy of mine was moving out there, and was driving down in his truck. And so I was a passenger princess for 36 hours.
Man, that's a long time to be a passenger princess, though.
Yeah.
So what do you do on a long drive like that? Was that your first time in LA?
No, I go to LA a decent amount. Yeah.
Yeah. So then you just wanted to take the drive or what?
Yeah. I mean, he's one of my best friends, so I went down with him, and we got there, and I flew out the next day. So yeah.
Wait. So you did a full-on drive, 36 hours.
Yeah.
And then you said, "All right, I got to dip out now."
Yeah, I left the next day. Came back to Nashville. So.
All right. So then talk to me about your time. We were talking a little bit briefly about just social media and how the landscape's changing. Talk to me about your brief time working with social media and how you've really gotten to grow through time.
Dude, about I would say a year and a half ago is when I started posting the content that I'm doing now. But I've been doing social media stuff for, years, been in the business space for a handful of years. And so done it out of necessity, for business stuff in Nashville. And I used to do music stuff. And so I've done all the classic music content in the past, and that's kind of where the inspiration for, one of my templates of the songs comes from, just being kind of funny and poking fun at, just the music marketing social media game.
So what, just one day you just got annoyed of seeing too much of it or what?
It was kind of accidental. I was actually, a friend of mine is an artist and a really talented writer in Nashville, and I was actually filming a video for him at a park we were at, and then before we left, I was like, hey, I had this idea to film this, kind of funny video for me, and I don't know why, I didn't even really film it to post it. I was just, this is kind of funny. So I filmed this video really quick, and then in the car, we put on a back, just like an instrumental, and I just the video I did was essentially, I was like, if you've ever been on a tennis court at sunset, this song's for you. And then I sung, I'm on a tennis court at sunset. So just kind of poking fun at the way that people describe, they're
their songs,
very niche. If this, if this is you, this song's for you. And then it's very, I'm they kind of just give away the whole point of the song. And so I did that, went to Philly. I was there. Some guy came up to me, and was literally like, yo, has anyone told you you look like the tennis court at Sunset's guy? And I was like, what? I was like, dude, that's me, He was like, no way. I got to get a photo to show my buddy. He'll freak out. And I remember texting my friend who filmed it, And I was like, dude, you'll never believe it. Like someone just came up to me and like recognized me for that video. That's hilarious. So I just started like pumping those out.
You know, when someone has a viral moment, right?
Yeah.
And when you guys are watching on TikTok, Instagram, you name it, right? I always wonder, creators, when we create something and it does really well, did you go into it and saying, hey, if this worked once, it may happen again?
I kind of didn't consider it a thing. I continued doing it and doing it and doing it, but it took about, I would say like 7 or 8 months until I was like, okay, like this, has kind of been working and maybe I could like lean into this and, do it more intentionally and like give it more time. But I don't know if you've ever seen like those chiropractor videos.
Of course. Yeah. Actually, I think that was the first video I ever seen you.
Yeah.
Was when you were inside the house and you were doing the chiropractic.
Yeah. Same friend I was filming the video that filmed my first video. We were demoing his house out in Mount Juliet in Tennessee. And, I took a video for fun. Again, it was just like, wasn't going to post it. I was just like, oh, this is funny. And then I just threw it on TikTok. Oh no, I threw it on Instagram first and then it did really well. And then I think at the time I didn't even get TikTok for, maybe a month or so. And then I just got it and started putting the same videos on and started doing really well. And so, yeah.
When you get an idea and when you're inspired,
Yeah.
Luke, what are you doing? Are you going like, when you're inspired, do you like read into your like phone or talk in your phone? Do you write it down on a sheet of paper? How's your writing style for just not only comedy, but also like if you're serious about going into music, which you've done before? I mean, how are you finding that right spot to work on music?
I would say, dude, notes on my phone. My notes are just full of stuff. I have like different notes for everything, but I have a content like note where I just write down kind of every concept that comes to mind, and some I use immediately, some I use months later, just concepts and stuff. But when I think of something, writing it down, or I used to do voice memos all the time. Like when I was doing music stuff, I would,
use voice memos. Yeah, 100%.
To kind of remember a melody or something. But yeah.
I love watching your content because sometimes the most abstract ideas are what's the most funniest. I get it, right? You guys may have your own sense of humor and find things that are funny yourself, but I like abstract humor, which you're really good at.
Yeah.
You'll think of something out of the blue and just say, I got to turn this into something. You know how hard that is?
Yeah, I mean, that's just the way I've always thought and operated. I mean, anyone who knows me, before any social media stuff, like some of our, closest friends, like none of them are like, have been surprised, I would say, because it's just kind of like how I think and come up with concepts and stuff. And I think social media has been like a good vehicle for like that. It's like before I didn't post anything, but I would always have funny ideas and concepts and stuff. And even for other people or friends of mine that did content or music, I like the abstract out there things, and I like do like ideation and like write scripts and stuff for, other creators and friends and other people in the industry too. Just whether it's on the business side for like ad scripts and like viral type videos or funny videos or long form stuff. But yeah.
I think what's amazing about your content is that you're able to be yourself and, be quirky, be weird. And then there's a million people like myself that are the exact same way. We're just scared to do it. I don't know how to explain that. Like, for example,
I get it.
Because like you have broken the wall that a lot of people that are watching this are afraid to break. We're afraid to be silly.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say there's like a weird safety net. Like once you get a following in a weird way, like it feels reversed, but it's like, it feels less scary to post those things now because that's what I do. There's like an expectation of it, it's like.
But do you like that though?
I love it. Yeah. Okay. I'm like, I love like the comedy satire space. And I'm super strategic, like thinker. So I love watching, other people's content and even just, comedy interviews and whatever, and just seeing the way that people deliver things differently and set things up for, jokes. And I think that's a big part of it, is like the same template goes across long form, stand up, short form, TikToks, is like, it's just what keeps people engaged. Is there has to be some sort of grabbing thing at the beginning, then there has to be this middle part that's keeping you engaged, incentivized, and then there's a punchline, and then you send it to, because that's how like we consume content nowadays. And how I consume content is like, I see a video, usually something that grabs my attention, I watch it, then it's funny, and then you're like, oh, this is hilarious, then I want to share it with people.
You're absolutely right. At a certain point in time, when did social media for you start feeling like a job?
9 months in was when I was like, okay, I'm gonna kind of strategically shape things differently, of like, what is my brand, like personal brand, like essentially setting this, up. So when someone sees one of my videos, they go to my page, why would they follow me? It's like, and that's kind of a part of building your personal brand. And so I think when I started getting into that stuff of like looking at it that way, and thinking more strategically, and even planning out content, filming content, and you're kind of like, okay, I think I could,
Match the brand with
like do something, with this, and do more even outside of the social media space. And but
you're absolutely right. And speaking of brands and sponsors, we got to take a quick break. This episode has been brought to you by Manscaped. The new Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra is every man's cheat code to look good, feel good, and turn the page on confidence this year. Go to manscaped.com, use the code GOLTS20 for 20% off plus free shipping today. Speaking of just brands and comedy, right, and having that comedy incorporated into your brand, I mean, what are some ideas that you had that you nixed out completely? You're like, nah, I'm not going to do that.
I don't know. That's a good question. I test stuff a lot. I would say there's definitely a lot of things. There's a big difference between like an idea that you might have, and then how it looks like, how it will look executed. There's like some really good concepts that I've had that are like, oh, this is really funny. And then you film it and edit it, and you're like, oh gosh, like, it doesn't really hit the way that I wanted it to hit. And then sometimes it's the opposite, where it's like you have ideas that you're like, this doesn't feel really funny. And then when you're filming it, like maybe, an organic kind of idea comes up or something, and then it turns out to be funny and it works. So yeah.
How do you hold yourself back from not putting out something that you worked on? Because I think that's the interesting thing, is that there's so many people right now that are watching this that wants to go on social media. They want to do certain things.
Yeah.
But they'll take a million takes and try to find the one that works. And after they've done a bunch of takes, edit the video, they're too scared to put it out.
I think overthinking it, like spending too much time on it, can be, sometimes a bad thing. We can just kind of psych ourselves out a little bit. So I try not to think about it too much, or like, I think the nature of social media, like you've seen brands go and companies on their social media reach, is like, we've seen the age of like the polished, dialed social media graphics and posts and high quality videos. And for some brands and stuff that works, but it's like, there's a reason why brands are all using, user generated content for ads and doing influencer partnerships. And I think the imperfected kind of raw makes it feel a lot more relatable, like especially when I do collaborations with people, like maybe we'll be kind of in character trying to do something, and one of us will like break character because it's something super funny, or will catch us off guard. That's like my favorite kind of stuff. Cause it's real, it's like, I don't, I my song videos at this point, it's like not everyone that I do I think is hilarious, but it's like just a part of, the kind of routine of posting stuff and doing them. And yeah, I think they're funny, but not like always, hilarious. But it doesn't have to be hilarious to be shareable and relatable and, something people want to engage with. But then at the same time, there's some videos I think are hilarious that don't perform. And then you're like, ah, dang, that sucks. You know, like,
because you thought in your mind how it was going to turn out, and then the algorithm just algorithmed.
Yeah. And I think, yeah. And there's a sweet spot too of like, there's videos that I've posted that haven't performed that I didn't, you know, take down or anything, because I was like, nah, like this is so funny to me. And like the people that will take the time to watch it and like get it, like they think it's funny too, even though it hasn't done crazy numbers. And then, you know, videos that won't perform crazy, I'll be like, gosh, like, you know, I thought this would go crazy. Like I'll have creators reach out or friends and be like, yo, this is really funny. And I'm like, see, that's what I thought, you know, I'm like, I thought so. But I mean, social media is so like, you know,
you never know,
subjective and fluctuates all the time with engagement. So,
you know, here's a question that I wanted to get your answer on. So do you like it when folks will call you an influencer, or do you enjoy content creator, or do you enjoy, you know, producer? You name it what you want to be called, but I'm just saying, what do you feel like when someone will brand you as an influencer or a content creator? Do you like those labels?
I like content creator because I think that's like very matter of fact of like what it is. You know, you create content. I usually say like comedy content create, because like I use the term influencer like ironically. Like usually the creators I connect with tend to be in the satire space like as well, that, you know, the entire branding is built around like not taking ourselves too seriously.
Yeah, it's the character. So
that's
what I'm learning.
Yeah, and so I think I don't like the term influencer because everyone does influence people regardless, you know, what they do, whether they are a content creator or not. I think just because someone has 1 million followers doesn't mean that they have real influence. You know, I think it depends on what they've built, what they post, who they are. That's why, you know, you have people who have maybe, you know, 10,000 followers that can post about something, and all those people are going to like
go do it. Absolutely.
Because they have a genuine influence, because they've built trust with their audience. And it doesn't have to mean you have like influence on like a positive change in society. You know, I think it just means like, do you actually have influence with the people that follow you and engage with your content?
And I just said that because I think it's interesting, right? Because folks with a following, regardless if it's comedy based or personal based, fitness based, everyone likes to be called certain things, right? Like when people talk to me and they say, you're a host, I'm like, no, I'm actually an executive producer. And why is that? Because it's all this that I'm producing.
Yeah.
And same thing, when I think of you, I don't necessarily think of an influencer. I think of a person that creates great comedy content. And that's where I wanted to take the conversation next is comedy.
Yeah.
Because man, you have great comedic timing, but more importantly, it's your own comedic style. I don't know how to explain that. Like you're not trying to be funny.
Yeah.
You're not trying to tell a joke. Your thoughts are genuinely humorous, and you just deliver it the way you want to deliver it. Could you see yourself getting into stand-up?
I don't know, man. Like, I think we're in such a funny age too, where it's like social media makes everything and everyone more accessible, and so it's like you don't really need to put yourself in a stand-up position to be funny anymore. You know, it's like some of the funniest people, like people that I think are the funniest, like I've never watched any stand up, like they might not even do stand up, or I've never seen any stand up they've done. It's a different skill. Like I think being really good at comedy, like stand up comedy is a really good skill. There's a crossover of it being like subjective to a person and someone being funny, you know, in a general sense. Like there's so many popular comedians that I just like don't think are funny. Again, I think the way I think is very strategic. So I'm so interested in the way someone delivers something and, you know, sets something up, and even the way they communicate. And so I'm a big Theo Von fan. I love Nate Bargatze as well. Like,
shout out to Theo Von, because it's one of those, I've never seen a comedian say exactly what he's thinking at the most no, I wouldn't say inappropriate time,
Yeah,
but at a time where it's so striking,
yeah,
where it's just like, did he really just say that?
yeah, yeah,
That is such a skill.
yeah, totally.
But does Theo Von create videos like you create videos that are funny? No, not necessarily. He does a whole nother thing. Do you feel like you have a character?
Yeah, I was like, in a way, and I think the beauty of it is like, I'm kind of in and out. Like, it's like I do have a character on social media ish, like, but it's not so like so separate from me in a way that like it feels impossible to, or like if I do an interview or like I like have this to like be, because that's like in a way it's like an expression of who I am and the way I think, even though it's kind of more branded and put together. I don't really see myself doing stand-up. I've had a lot of people ask that. Like, I know friends of mine that like do content like I do and are like getting into the stand-up space. And I'm like, dude, I'm like, I respect you for that. I'm like, that is like just so different. I think because, I can you can control, what you put out, and you can think over the delivery, and, you're not watching someone react to it, like besides the comments, but even there's, a distance. And so it's not really like
buffer. The comments, weirdly enough, it's weird to think that is some strategic thought. It's weird to think that even a comment section is a buffer.
Totally.
Compared to reality of watching someone real time. Yeah.
And I think it's almost like I have another buffer because it's, it's satire. So it's like, I'm not being serious, but I am being serious with me thinking it's funny, but I'm not at the same time. Yeah, it is. So there's like multiple buffers that like, there's nothing, like, and I never get comments like that anyway. Like no one is like, and when people do comment things, it's because it goes over their head, like because it's satire. Like, so someone will comment and be like, this is dumb or whatever. And I'm like, that's the point. And then people will like comment under their comment being like, you just don't, you don't get it and blah, blah, blah. So satire is almost like a safe space because you can, I'm not being serious, but I think comedy, like stand-up comedy, is so intimidating in the way that like you're one being like, I'm funny and I believe that I can be funny right now, and then planning out being funny in front of people. I think that's like stresses me out a little bit. Like other than script writing for like bits and stuff, I love organic just interactions. And when I do collaboration stuff, that's usually how it goes, is like we'll film a bunch of different stuff. And usually the stuff that's the most fun just comes about like from, just organically doing it. And so
the idea of comedy is a buffer from reality, right? So Luke is his own person. Luke has his own thoughts, has his own feelings, but comedy allows him to, be funny, be able to be creative. But even in the scope of comedy, that is a buffer from your true self.
Totally.
And then social media is another buffer. Comments that are brought is another buffer. So in a weird way, the conversation goes is like, hey, you can always go revert to, this is just comedy.
Comedy is on the internet right now is the safest place to be, like safest niche. Like, I don't even really, majority of the time I don't watch videos for the videos. I watch it for the comments, and, and me and my friends literally will just send each other videos and be like, read the comments. My content, I would say, is like, I built it to, I want it to like to be interacted with, it's like, and that's when I started doing my favorite template that I did. Essentially, it was like, I just, I quit my job, like all these elaborate things of, I quit my job to become a country star. Did I make a mistake? Or I dropped out of school to be a country artist.
Allowing people to answer.
Yeah, like, posing the question, and then it was horrible, like quote unquote horrible. It was just more so like, I would say the most cliche, country lyrics. And I think that's the, strategic part of social media is like, you want to bait people into commenting.
Watching it the whole way too.
Yeah. And so I would say the comments from that were like really funny, and I've connected with like a bunch of like big artists or country artists like because of that, because it's like everyone was playing into the joke of like, you know, and then it was like I would say 1% of people weren't, and that was funny because people would be like, I'm so lost, like why is everybody, you know, so positive in these comments, or this, you know, you should probably like get your job back or something. And then the rest of the comments are like, best decision you've ever made, like, you know, this is a hit, like all this stuff. And so I think those are like the funny comments, is like my engagement on those videos in similar formats is like super high. And so, you know, a lot of close friends of mine will like, when I post a video, they all comment on it to try to like, you know, say something witty or whatever, because everyone now is like liking comments and whatever. And so I'll have like friends message me and be like, I'm never commenting on one of your videos again, because, you know, they don't post any content or even stuff on their Instagram rarely, but they get notifications all the time of like,
of all the people that
their comment
it.
getting liked.
Oh my
and
God.
So sometimes they'll comment something in it and I'll either pin it or it'll be like a top comment, and, you know, it'll show like, I mean, some of these, like you're talking like 20, 30,000 likes on a comment. And so just like every day, and it trickles over time because that's social media.
Because people do not stop watching it.
Yeah. And so it's funny. I would say my friend Luke, shout out Luke Knowles in Texas. He's a killer barber. He actually, one of my biggest videos, he did a haircut on me.
Wait, was it the one with the horse in the back?
Dude, he's a killer barber, and he literally, it was crazy because he drew the horse on the back of my head because it was like, you know, the power of a haircut or whatever. And then
giving you a little rat tail in
the
the weirdest spot.
Horse was like the rat tail was like the horse tail, whatever. And so it was like this funny transition video, and it like went crazy. But then he like fixed it, and it was like the best haircut I've ever got in my life. Like of him like just making do with what was left. And so but during that series I was telling you about, I quit my job to become a country artist and whatever, he was like, you know, and still to this day, if you go to those videos, I think I pinned some of them, and some of them are just naturally like organically the top comments. He built an audience for his comments. Like people would
like Reddit in a way.
It was so weird. Like he would comment something and people would comment under like, bro, I was waiting for you to comment, or like, when I see your videos, I wait for your comments, because they were so funny. Like I turned down this $10 million contract with the NFL to pursue my dreams as a country artist. Did I make the right choice? He said, I really hate to say this, but I need to be honest. You made a mistake not sharing this sooner. I'll see you at the top. And so he started like doing these, you know, comments, and some of his comments literally have, you know, so many artists commented on then they started commenting on it and going along with the joke, like Ernest, Diplo, Leon Bridges, Shabuzi, like just, you know, and they're like, yo, this is like so worth it. Like, you know, this is a banger or whatever.
What's it like to have some fun celebrities see your content, reach out about the content? What's that like?
It's funny, man. I would say like the social media like desensitizes you a little bit. Like sometimes I wish I felt like more like, oh, that's crazy. Like I think because social media, it feels so distant sometimes. Like it doesn't really register, you know, it doesn't feel real. Like, so even people I've met in person or done stuff with in person, like usually didn't register until after, where I was like, oh, that was crazy. Like it's just weird. Like social media is like that, where it's like, doesn't feel real. It's just funny because they're like normal people who are like engaging with.
Yeah, art is art. And it doesn't matter if you make a hit song, like Ernest made a hit album with Nashville, and then also yourself that makes a hit from something that is a content building, you know, machine in a way. It's the same thing. And speaking of which, what is your favorite song that you produce under Luke White right now?
Dude, country song is one, and then Beer Truck Dirt is the other. That's I would say they're tied. They're for my favorite.
Talk to me about Beer Truck Dirt.
Yeah.
And how, you know, that turned into a phenomenon to where you're even having shirts made and all kinds of stuff. Talk to me about Beer Truck Dirt.
Dude, it was one video that it's so funny how like it's just how social media is like one thing can like solidify something, and then become, it's like you look through any of my videos and comments now too, like no matter what I post, there's people in the comments that are just like beer truck dirt, or like that DM me that, or that's just like, it's just funny. And so I had the same concept. I think it was just like, if you like beer trucks and dirt, listen to this country song. And then the song was like beer, truck, dirt, dirt. And it like blew up, and that's kind of like what solidified it. And then the three topics of,
any song
in like a little package of, it's like beer, trucks, and dirt. It's like the three boxes you tick. And so, and now I like am held to like that weird like standard too. Like I'll get asked, I'll like, if I do a video and I just talk about beer and trucks, like I literally get like, people are like, what about the dirt? Or like, if I talk about dirt and trucks, they're like, no cold beer. It's like this weird, like I have to like hit all three categories to like, and then, yeah, I started doing the merch stuff as well. And that's just so good too.
Now, what about the country song? Country song, which is actually, I think, my favorite.
Yeah.
I listen to it.
It's a banger, dude. I wrote it with two fire producers. Well, a fire producer out of LA, and my friend Zach, who's like one of the best country writers I know. And we sat down, and just made a list of like all the country cliches in country songs. And then we're like, how can we fit them all into one song, and make it kind of work. And so it was fun. I mean, we had to like, in a way, like, cause we're both writers too. Mm-hmm. We had to like regularly be like, okay, that's like too good or too clever, or like the play on word is like too good. Like we need to like make it more just like on the nose, like, and so we would dial it back and whatever.
That actually sounds very hard. That doesn't sound easy, especially if you're a writer.
It is harder. It's almost easier to write like a good song in a way, like, and it's weird because even if you try to write a just country song cliche, trying to just hit all those topics, sometimes like I have people that don't understand that it's satire, and that are like, yo, like I respect your music, I love that, like blah blah blah, like, and are dead serious, not like that's funny or whatever. And sometimes I'll like, people will send me songs, or I'll hear a song on my For You page of an artist being completely serious, and it sounds like something I would write, just because like the amount of topics they use into, they pull into the song. But yeah.
Well, okay, so real quick, Luke, would you be down to play a game?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you items, and you got to figure it out what it is blindfolded.
Okay.
Okay, so then if you can, sir, put those blindfolds on.
Oh.
And you're going to need your hands to grab whatever's there, all right?
All right, let's get it.
All right, first off.
I'm kind of scared, though.
All right, right in front of you, you got something. You let me know what you think it is.
Can I go just literally based off sound right now?
Yeah, you can go off sound. Go ahead.
Is that a beer?
100%. Feel it out. Can you tell me what type?
Hold on. So, dude, I'm literally so locked in. I know the sound of a beer anywhere, just hitting the counter. Ooh, it's a tall boy, but it's judging by the circumference of the can.
I would have used a girth.
Yeah, I was gonna use it, but I was avoiding that word. Judging by the circumference of the can, it's not a bearded iris because of the.
It's more of a national brand.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm guessing the can feels blue. Am I correct?
The can is blue. Yeah.
Is it a Bud? Is it a Bud Light?
You're close. It starts with a B.
Budweiser? No. It's a Busch Light.
You got it. All right. Dude. Got the first one down there. All right. Can you just can you hear what I just threw down on there?
Dude, I'm so legit can't see right now, but I'm gonna guess. I feel like I know. Is it a truck? I feel. Here's my thought process. I literally thought, I feel like I heard like the plastic wheels like rattle.
Yeah,
when
you did.
said
Yeah,
that. Okay.
you're like Ray Charles right now. You can feel everything out here. I'll move that bush out the
Dude,
way.
let's go.
Now I'll give you points if you can tell me what color it is.
Dude, honestly, let me feel this. Is it a primary color?
It is a primary color. Yeah.
Okay. Is it red?
Yeah, it is. What?
Dude, I don't know, bro. Dude, I'm dialed.
You're dialed in right now.
Gosh, dude.
All right, here we go.
I feel like one of those, like the, sommeliers, like wine testers.
Yeah, wine testers.
They can like test. They can taste a wine and tell you.
Feel it with your hands.
They can tell you ingredients, like what.
You're a hand sommelier.
What region it came from? I'm an ear sommelier.
Oh, you're an ear sommelier.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what you got here.
I'm scared. Oh, dude.
And don't flex it too much because it might be valuable one day.
Okay. Okay. Let me feel the angle, the corner here. See?
Is it telling you something?
No, that literally was a dead giveaway for me because I was expecting a round corner. This is a dead giveaway. This is a Wemby rookie card.
What? Shut up. Man, maybe you are a hand sommelier over here. Hold on.
A hamalier.
Hand malier.
Hand malier.
All right, two more things. Last two things. Here we go.
Oh, God.
All right.
Oh, man. I don't like that.
It's on the table. Whenever you're ready.
Is it? What is? Oh, God. Is it?
Just,
I don't know why I'm so scared now. Is it? Give me a hint.
feel it.
Is it okay? Is it moving or no?
It's not moving.
Okay.
It's dead. It's an
Oh,
object.
God. It's dead or it's an object?
No,
It was never
it's not,
alive?
It's not dead. It's not an animal. It's not a living
Was it
thing.
ever alive?
No.
Okay. Oh, God. It's dirt.
Well,
I know dirt.
you know dirt from just feeling it, huh?
Uh-huh. God, dude. Almost got me there.
All right.
Pour a little some of that beer on there. You got some mud.
All right. Yeah. All right. And the
Basic
last
chemistry right there.
last thing I got on here.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
It's the last thing. Far right. There you go.
Is this a top industry rated men's manscape trimmer?
Hey, let's go.
Dude.
You can undo your.
I know when you played that sound, I was like, dude, I know that.
Oh my gosh. Hold on a second.
Oh, God, dude, it's so bright.
You were absolutely right. You got 5 out of 5 out.
Holy crap, dude.
How do you feel about that? Do you feel like you're a hand sommelier?
I do, honestly. It was wild, honestly. I use so many props for things that I just knew the sound. Like when it hit the table, I was like, dude, I've used this before for props in some way. So
Last question on the show. What could you tell the person that's watching this today, who's scared to take a leap of faith and to do what they want to do in life, whether it's create content or, write a book, be a songwriter?
Mm-hmm.
What pieces of advice can you give them?
That's a good question. Do you have like a inspirational, like instrumental track? I wish. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So take the shot.